Cinema has given us some beautiful and inspirational relationships. Veeru and Jay, or Hari and Krishna's brotherhood, where they would die for each other. All our Goa trips, where we want to be like the Dil Chahta Hai gang, minus the heartbreak, of course. Or even Zindagi Na Milegi Dobara, which made us all want to go to Spain and find ourselves in the company of our friends, if the visa overlords allow us. Before the iconic Papa Beta relationship, we had the Ma Beta relationships. Funny that women's relationships with other women are very rare and few. Maybe because they are too busy fighting for a man's attention. Of course, you do have the occasional Viredi wedding, which incidentally doesn't even pass the Bechdel test. Might as well accept that it's a man's world. And so, I'm Meera Mohan,
I'm Reshmi Mohan.
and we welcome you to the Real Impact.
Love it, hate it, from east or west, but you can ignore it. The real impact, the real impact, the real impact. Which female relationship in any of the movies has had a positive impact on you?
So before we go into the female relationships, I think one saying by an English art critic and novelist John Berger, who said, "Men act, women appear. Men watch, women watch themselves being watched." Right. So that just sets the context of women and female representation in movies. And if I have to talk about movies where the relationships have been showcased positively for me, I think one of them would be the female friendship shown in the movie Queen, where Kangana Ranaut's character has a very nice relationship with Lisa Hayden's character. Now, obviously, they are culturally quite disparate and they have very different backgrounds, very different belief systems. But they are having a very warm friendship that evolves through the time. So I think the two women look out for each other throughout the movie. There's a very nice companionship, and that's something that I really enjoyed and would love to have someone like that in my life as well. The other movie would be Pataka, where there are two sisters who are always fighting from the smallest things of stolen BDs and clothes and everything. And obviously, they have two different dreams, and their father is able to support only one at a time because of their financial situation. So their whole bickering that forms the crux of the first part of the movie, and how after they are married
They end up in the same family again.
they end up in the same family again, and how then their love for each other also shows, right? And that's just the most natural, obviously there are a few things amplified, but that's the most natural way of showcasing sisterly bond, and I really enjoyed watching that movie. So these were two movies where I thought the female relationships were more nuanced and they showed a more realistic picture of how things are in the society, rather than superficial characters. Like, for instance, you have friendship even shown in Ye Jawani Hai Diwani, but there's not even a single scene which showcases how Naina's character bonded with Kalki's character.
yeah.
And even there's Veere the wedding or Aisha, where the relationships are quite superficial in nature. But apart from these, also there are movies like Past, Door, etc., where female relationships, I think, have been explored really well.
Yeah.
What would your examples be?
So I forgot about Pataka. I would have picked that one as well, but all my examples are mother-daughter duos. The one in Dear Zindagi. I think their story, their relationship arc is also quite nice and natural and realistic as well. Like, mother-daughters most of the time have this kind of like a antagonistic relationship towards each other, but they also care for each other deeply. And then we see how
There's a growth.
Alia Bhatt's character blames her mother for whatever she's going through, and then she also accepts the fact that her mother is also a human being, and she was also learning as she became a mother. And then they try to like understand each other, and they grow with each other. So I really like that. And there's also Khoobsurat's Millie and Manju. I thought it was a really fun mother daughter duo. They were like almost like friends. They shared everything with each other, and I could relate to that a lot. I have a similar relationship with my mother as well. So yeah, that's one. And then also Darling's mother daughter duo, Badru and Shamshu. They had each other's back even when they were committing murder. So that bond that you understand the person who's sitting across you, and then you don't judge them, you try to grow with them. And yeah, and these movies have showcased
I
that
think one thing that I've
well.
noticed about this also is that the examples that you gave are mostly like all created by women, or they have women involved
Yeah, they're all
in
women
yeah.
writers.
Whereas the ones that I had chosen were actually created by men, so it's hopeful less
Yeah.
that even men can create not too bad characters.
Yeah.
But also the other thing about the fact that you showcased mother-daughter relationships. One thing that I also noticed is that in earlier decades, mothers were shown as sacrificial and this idealistic woman who is supposed to give everything to for their children, whereas now we're seeing more nuanced characters like the ones that you mentioned, or the characters of English Winglish or Mom and all of those characters, even Tribanga, where there were three generations of women again which had a mother-daughter relationship
Yeah.
being showcased, and several others where I think the mother is a woman first and an individual first before being a mother. So there is a character beyond just being the mother of a child, right? And there are even like grey characters like Tabu's character in Heather, which has showcased a very nuanced representation of how mothers could also be. So I feel like that's also reflective of the changing society, and mothers previously were actually devoted to providing for their children alone, and now the new generation of mothers also want to move just beyond their children, right? They want to have their own career, their life, their hopes and dreams.
Yeah.
What is a woman?
औरत माँ होती है, बहन होती है, पत्नी होती है, दोस्त होती है, और जब वो कुछ नहीं होती तो तवायफ होती है.
பொம்பளைன்னா பொறுமை வேணும், அவசரப்படக்கூடாது, அடக்கம் வேணும், ஆத்திரப்படக்கூடாது, அமைதி வேணும், அதிகாரம் பண்ணக்கூடாது, கட்டுப்பாடு வேணும், இப்படி கத்தக்கூடாது, பயபக்தியா இருக்கணும், இப்படி பஜாரத்தனம் பண்ணக்கூடாது, மொத்தத்துல பொம்பளை பொம்பளையா இருக்கணும்.
Yes, women should be women, and women on Indian screens have a defined role. Yash Chopra, who established Amitabh Bachchan as the angry young man, also with Chandni, established women to be beautiful, pious creatures made for the man's admiration and adoration. Filmmakers like Karan Johar and Suraj Bharjatya took this concept forward by centering the role of a woman within the boundaries of the house as someone who follows her husband's lead. This is in an India where, according to the J. Walter Thompson's research on female tribes, 73% of Indian women claim to make the majority of the financial decisions in their household. But in the real reality, confident and empowered women are often portrayed as vamps and punished for thinking for themselves. For example, Shailaja, played by Urvashi in V.R. Gopal Krishnan's Bharya, who came from a financially sound family, is looked down upon for not adjusting to unfamiliar surroundings. She's not the stereotypical dutiful, giving, and compassionate daughter in law, and the film's happy ending is when she succumbs to the patriarchal setting. The good woman, bad woman brainwashing has followed us from the 90s to the 21st century. Be it Nisha in Dil To Pagal Hai or Veronica in Cocktail, both these women are punished in the end for being opinionated and confident enough to seek what they want. And in movies like Hey Jawani Hai Diwani, a clear demarcation is made by the hero between the good woman and the bad woman with this dialogue.
तुम्हारे जैसे लड़की फ्लोटिंग लेनी इश्क ले बनी है.
And what about these women's identities, like their religion, class, or caste?
You want intersectionality in a two-dimensional world? The typical Hindi heroine is a Hindu upper caste woman from a well to do family, barring the rich boy falls in love with the poor girl trope, of course. Middle class is absent mostly, other than in films like Lunchbox, Hindi Medium, and Pataka. Religion is another can of worms. Christian women usually come under the bad women category, with rare exceptions of movies like Abhi Haan Kabhi Na or Finding Fanny. But even Finding Fanny has been criticized by one film critic who said, quote, the movie is liberally spiced with disparaging remarks on Goan women and portrays Catholics as perennially drunk and caught in a time warp of poverty, and Angie's skimpy dresses show off cleavage and innerwear, and the cross in her neck, and doing it out in the fields, well, it's quintessentially Bollywood, nothing offbeat. Unquote. The reel did reflect reality a little in the 90s, where movies like Bombay showed Muslim women and an interfaith relationship. But of course, such love jihad is no longer encouraged in the Vishwaguru Modi ji's India. In the land of Kerala, though, while religion and class may have been portrayed a lot better on the reel, it is bogged down by the caste issue. Though there are brilliant movies like Neelakoil, Kamattipadam, and Kismat, which took the issue head on and had Dalit women as chief protagonists, the characters were not essayed by Dalit Malayalam actresses, but by upper caste women. Recently, several Dalit feminist activists had objected to the fair-skinned Parvati playing the role of Rachiyamma in Urubindi Rachiyamma, as Rachiyamma has a dark complexion. And the caste issue is not limited to women. Thilagan, one of the finest actors in the Malayalam industry, had alleged caste discrimination against him by a prominent lobby in Amma, the Association of Malayalam Movie Artists, before his death.
If even men have to face issues, we can't expect all to be well for women, can we now?
Let's talk about these women on screen and quiz each other with like one line descriptions of their role in the movie. So I'll give you the first one. So a free spirited woman gets betrayed in love and then is rescued by a heartbroken man.
By Heartbroken Man.
Yes.
It feels like every other movie. But
This is one of the, I'll give you a clue, this is one of the iconic female characters.
is it Jappi Mein?
Yes.
Okay, now me. So she reminisces her dead lover and shares the story of how they fell in love with each other with her child while being married to her best friend.
Have I watched this movie?
Yes.
She's married to her best friend and she's talking. Oh, Kalona! It's funny how all the women, their whole journey is about a man.
Yeah.
Okay, so my second one is a mother who loves one son more than the other. In the end, fights with her husband for that son. So all in all, that son is the most important for her. She claims that she loves him more than the other son anyway. And then she fights with her husband also in the end.
Oh god, I can't think of anything. Which is this? I'm sorry, I can't get it.
Kabhi
Oh
khushi,
yeah.
kabhi gum.
Right, oh shit.
कह दिया ना
Bas,
कह
keh
दिया.
diya. Okay. So this girl is utterly confused on who she loves between two male friends, but then accuses the guys for not asking her opinion on her love life.
Two male friends she has.
Yeah, I mean there are two male friends and she is confused between who she loves amongst the two, and then she blames the guys for not giving her a chance to make an opinion about her own love life.
I think I know. Student of the year.
किसी ने मुझसे पूछा कि मैं क्या चाहती हूँ मैं किसी कंपटीशन का हिस्सा नहीं हूँ
Okay. So the last one from my end.
You're guessing all of mine. I'm not able to guess it. I think I guessed the first
First one you guessed, yeah. Because I gave you a big clue. So this one is a young woman helps her husband overcome the trauma of losing his former lover.
A young woman. Is this Bangalore Days?
Yeah, you are right.
Okay, now my turn. So, a persistent runaway bride comes back to her home to be saved from her family by a 40-year-old bachelor.
40-year-old bachelor. Runaway bride. This sounds like Julia Roberts movie.
She's a persistent runaway bride.
40-year-old bachelor. I don't know.
Chennai Express. Chennai,
But it's strange how all the women's arcs are related to men.
Yeah.
But it's not just who the women are. How they look is also a big part of the impact.
It is, and how. Fair skin is the norm. Bollywood predominantly produces only fair skin leading ladies. Women with dark skin are limited to characters from oppressed backgrounds because, like Nandita Das said in an interview, quote, the director or makeup artist would come and say, I know you don't like wearing makeup, but could you lighten your skin a little with makeup since this role is that of an educated person, unquote. I mean, this is reflective in the number of songs with Gori in it.
ये काली काली आँखें ये गोरे गोरे गाल चुरा के दिल मेरा गोरियां चली गोरे गोरे मुखड़े पे काला काला चश्मा गोरी 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 कभी कभी कहीं कहीं चोरी चोरी
Yes, we get it. The South must be different though, right?
Not really. In fact, in the 90s in the Tamil film industry, light-skinned actors from Mumbai were imported into the industry, their voices dubbed into Tamil. This in a country like India, which is the largest market for skin lightening creams in the world, valued at $450 to $535 million.
And many of the creams are marketed by our leading ladies.
Exactly. But it's not just about how the women look, but also how they're hypersexualized and treated like sexual objects by their male counterparts on the screen. Even if we ignore the item songs, a study revealed that over 40% of sexual scenes in Bollywood hits include sexual violence. And nearly 70% of the perpetrators of this violence are the heroes or the good guys. Serious sexual violence, such as rape, is shown in a negative light and is often attempted by the bad guys in a film. But minor or moderate sexual harassment, such as stalking, teasing, and even inappropriate touching, is often perpetrated by the heroes and is thus framed as normal and fun. Like the blockbuster Bahubali shows one of the longest scenes of symbolic violation of women passed as romance. How does such depictions impact the people watching these scenes? In a study conducted on this topic, a majority of the male respondents said that they enjoyed watching scenes of eve teasing in movies, and 50% asserted that they believed women like to be teased. And how can we forget the Bangalore mass molestation on New Year's Eve in 2017?
We have seen how a representation of women have been misogynistic in many ways, and song lyrics are the best platform for that. So I thought we could have like a fun quiz where it's English translations of the songs and we try to guess which song is it. So do you want to go first or do you want
I'll go first.
Okay.
So, this fair lady is making the hearts of men beat fast while her father-in-law is trying to take a chance at her.
Father-in-law is taking a chance on her. What?
Any guesses?
I can't even think of it.
So this is, you give up?
Yeah.
white face लेके दिलवा beating fast ससुरा chance मारे रे दिलवा chance
But why?
so many things wrong in this lyrics.
White face, though, leave it. Gori everywhere. But why Sasura chance mare? I don't know. Anyway,
That's just the ridiculous.
I'll give you my first one is very easy. Okay, I'm a tasty piece of meat that you can gulp down with alcohol.
This is one of those item songs. I'm not able to get that. It's there, but I'm not able to get it.
Shall I sing it?
Yeah.
तंदूरी मुर्गी हुई यार खटका सैया अल्कोहल से.
Okay, so a kid with rosy cheeks, intoxicating eyes, walking like a royal, turns into a medicine for you, ready to be defamed by you.
A kid?
Defamed for you, sorry.
A kid है वो. I don't know.
मुन्नी के गाल गुलाबी नैन शराबी चाल नवाबी रे.
Okay, she's just giving you attitude. She's saying no, but in her heart it's a yes. Today or tomorrow she'll accept this. Don't worry about it.
आज कल मान जाएगी घबरा मत. ना है पर हाँ उसके दिल में हाँ है. What is this song? नखरे. She's giving attitude. खुद क्यों क्या समझती है इतना अखड़ती है.
No, this is not that song.
आज नहीं तो कल मान जाएगी something. I don't know. What is it?
ये उसका स्टाइल होएगा फोटो पे ना दिल पे हाँ होएगा आज नहीं तो कल बोलेगी. ए तो टेंशन क्या कर रहा है? Shouldn't laugh. It's not nice.
But there's a ray of hope in commercial films like 22 Female Kottayam, Trivandrum Lodge, Mahesh and Pradigaram, Kumblangi Nights, Helen, and Uyare. We have empowering movies like Thappad, where the female lead reclaims her agency and self respect. In Paglet, Sandhya's story deviates from the usual widowhood narrative in Bollywood and Indian society. She shows openness and acceptance of her husband's death rather than the customary wailing and howling sadness. She defies patriarchal expectations by refusing to remarry and gives the money to her in laws, asserting autonomy. We have Baby Mole and Simi in Kumblangi Nights, where Simi tolerates her husband's patriarchal expectations till he crosses the boundary with Baby Mole, and Simi lets her guard down and stands up for her sister. We also have Nina from Varane Avashamunda, who is bravely reaching out for love again, despite a history of an abusive marriage. These positive portrayals do have real life impact, as J. Walter Thompson's proprietary study, The Women's Index, revealed that 58% of women said that strong on screen female role models inspired them to be either more ambitious or more assertive, and more than 1 in 10 women in India were inspired to leave an abusive relationship purely through the influence of on screen female role models.
I want to ask you about the women on screen that have had an impact on you.
So obviously there are quite a few. Both like I've majorly watched Bollywood and Malayalam movies, but I will talk about one that I really liked. It would be the character of Piku, played by Deepika Padukone. I think she plays a very fierce, independent, and uncompromising Bengali woman, and she plays it really well. She is shown as a working woman. She's an architect. She also is a person who is taking care of her family or her father, which is the reality in a lot of homes, but it almost is showcased that it's only the sons who take care of their parents, which is not at all true. The way that she's represented is also very realistic. The kind of clothes she's wearing and how she's appearing is all very realistic. And her relationship with Irfan Khan is obviously really nice and sweet, but also her relationship with her father is so realistic. Like, they are always bickering about small things. Her father is obsessed with his health and she's always making fun of her father, fighting with her father, which is my relationship with my father as well. But also they showcase a very deep love and care, which is again a reality. So I was able to relate so much to her character, and I would definitely say that that's one of my top female character representations
Okay.
in movies.
So I think there are quite a few
Yeah.
for me as well. Like Piku is one. Like even Dears in the Alia's character is one. But I was looking at characters who are coming from a domestic environment, but then still was such a character that I could relate to them, and I found them really inspiring. And they both played by Aishwarya Rai. One is Sujata from Guru, and the other is Jodha from Jodha Akbar. They both are such strong and fierce women. They have, they know their worth, they know their place in the world, and they claim what is rightfully theirs. And yeah, like Sujata, for example, she knew that she was getting into a marriage of convenience, but then she thought that setting would give her more from life than what she currently existed in. That's why she got into this marriage with a man who she thought would be an equal partner, and it turned out that way for her. And she was vocal about whatever she felt in terms of his business decisions and whatever. She was an equal partner in their life. And same for Jodha. Like, she's getting married without her consent. Like, she's being almost sold away because of this agreement, strategic
Alliance.
political alliance. But first she thinks that she should just give away her life, but then she sees a ray of hope in this man who's marrying her. She may get the freedom that she desires, so she tries to take a chance on life, and then she gets what she wants. She never backs down. She never lets him take over her life, and and I don't think such a movie would be made today, because it will be called Love Jihad and or whatever. But being married to a Muslim man, she retained her Hindu identity. She built a temple for herself, and she didn't compromise with her values, Manmohana and all of that. And even when he treated her unfairly, she decided to leave him and go back to her house. So she had agency in both the roles that Aishwarya Rai played. So I think, yeah, these characters really inspired me.
We talk about the male gaze. So whether it's a director, whether it's a producer, whether it's the script writer, whether it's the person who is doing the cinematography, so everywhere I think there's such minimal representation of women, that the characters written or shown in the movies have a very dismal representation.
And we look into it in more detail by going into behind the scenes and how the representation is happening there in our next episode. Until then, हम है राही प्यार के, फिर मिलेंगे चलते चलते.
अम्मा सोचे अपने लिए बेटी बहू ना हो क्लीशे, women have different shades रे. करियर नहीं संस्कारी काम घोरी गाय, क्यों राम का नाम रियलिटी से रील है परे. वो सिनेमा ही क्या है, जा women रहे पीछे, चल थोड़ा चेंज को चलते करे. स्त्री को तू और जान ले, ओ सिनेमा स्त्री को तू और चांस दे. ओ सिनेमा स्त्री को तू और जान ले, ओ सिनेमा स्त्री को